Okay, hi guys. So we're going to review a little bit with solving some equations, kind of like a level 2 expectation of difficulty for these. So these are ones that we would kind of expect you to already have some experience with solving coming into Algebra 1. But again, we are aware that this is a little bit of a different year this year. So I'm going to go ahead and just review it with you here quick. And it would be a good idea to still go to the next little short video. Each one of them is only about 5 minutes. Just go ahead and go to the next little short video, the level 3. That's where we really need you to be at to be successful for the rest of this unit in Algebra 1. So I do think it's a good idea to see some of these examples. Make sure that you're consistently being able to solve for x in any level 1, level 2, or level 3 type problems. Okay. So getting started here, a lot of times we see that 1/2 x there, and we kind of start to panic, thinking that we don't know how to solve something like that. So just making sure my pen's working there. So first of all, we're thinking when you see that 1/2 x or whatever fraction it is, what it's saying is that half of some number minus 6 equals 3. So if you already watched the level 1 video, we kind of talked about we're kind of thinking about what value must be right there. So some value minus 6 got me 3. So a lot of you guys can maybe see oh, that must have been 9 then right there. It must have been 9 minus 6 to get me 3. What we do mathematically to kind of show our steps there is we can add 6 to both sides to be able to cancel out that minus 6. We see a minus 6, so we add 6 to cancel that out, and there's that 9 that you were talking about. So it's saying that half of some number must be worth 9. You might be thinking, okay, if it's half of some number gets me 9, then I already know what that some number is, or what x is, and that's awesome. But what we're going to do is the 1/2 there, it still also means 1 divided by 2. And when we think about canceling out a divided by 2 situation, we're going to multiply by 2. And anything I do on one side of my equation, I have to do on my other side of my equation as well. So I'm going to pick up my work right over here. What happens is this divided by 2 right here and the times 2 cancel each other out. So I just have that 1x equals 18. Well, 1x is the same thing as x. If you wanted to divide by 1, you would see you would end up with the same thing, that x equals 18. And we're done. And again, kind of like I was talking about earlier in the level 1 video, if you're not sure if you did it right, go ahead and plug it in and make sure that it works. So half of 18, that would in fact be 9. We have 9 minus 6, that's 3. So we do get 3 equals 3, so we know that we got that correct. For this next one going on down here, now we have x's on both sides. It makes it a little bit trickier to just kind of up here we were kind of able to think about, okay, some number minus 6 got me 3, then thinking about half of that number, whatever. It makes it a little bit trickier when we have those x's on both sides. So what we usually do is we kind of start these problems off by trying to get all of our x's together. But what I want you to do is look at that problem and think about what would your first step be. So maybe just pause the video for a second, write down that problem, that 4x plus 5 equals 2x minus 10. Think about what your first step would be to solve that, what you think you would do. So we actually have a lot of options that would all get us to the same correct place that we can do for a first step here with this one. So if you thought, okay, I'll go ahead and subtract 5 from both sides, that'll work. That gets you closer to a solution. If you thought, no, I want to subtract 2x to get all my x's on one side there, that'll work. So that'll get you to a correct solution there as well. If you thought, oh, I want to add 10 to both sides, That'll work. That'll get you closer to a correct solution here. So there, just because I'm going to go about it the way that I kind of think about these to solve, that does not mean we need to do the steps in the exact same order as each other. So as long as we're all getting to the same place, and remember our end goal is to end up with something like x equals something. So your goal should be to get like one side of your equation with all your x's on it, and the other side of your equation with anything else over there. So we're going to use like inverse operations, adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, to be able to move things to either side of our equation. My first mindset goes, I'm kind of a minus 2x person, because if I can get this to look like a level 1 type equation to solve, I'm going to. So I'm going to subtract 2x there, because a positive 2x minus 2x is going to cancel out. So now I don't have x's on this side of my equal sign. Sometimes, by the way, in middle school they might have drawn that line down the middle, if that helps you kind of remember this topic. So over here we're just left with that negative 10. Over here 4x minus 2x would be 2x. Oops. And we have that 2x plus 5 equals negative 10. Okay. Next thing that I'm thinking is, now this is one of those easier equations to solve like we're used to, where it's 2 times something plus 5 got me negative 10. So I would probably cancel out that minus 5, or that plus 5 with a minus 5. Again, I'm going to pick up my work over here so I have a little more room. Plus 5 and minus 5 cancel, so I just have that 2x on that side. Negative 10 minus 5 would be negative 15. And then finally, that is 2 times x, got me negative 15, so I would divide by 2 to get that to cancel out. So we would have x equals negative 7.5, because that's 15 divided by, negative 15 divided by 2 is negative 7.5. Again, if you're not sure, go ahead and take negative 7.5, plug it in for x, and make sure that you get something that's equal on both sides. I guarantee you will there. Okay? Again, when we see this next one down below here, so this 2 times x plus 1 minus 4x equals 12. So with something like this, we have those parentheses there. This means 2 times everything in those parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead, you've seen these little arrows for distribution, I'm going to go ahead and multiply that 2 in there, so that then I can start simplifying my equation. So we have 2x plus 2 minus 4x equals 12. Now, I'm always kind of canceling out my my addition and subtraction before I think about multiplication and division. So I'm going to subtract my 2 from both sides here. So then I just have 2x minus 4x equals 10. You might have already done this piece. These two are like terms, and they're already on the same side of my equal sign there. So I'm just going to combine the 2x minus 4x to get negative 2x equals 10. And the nice thing about that is now we just have negative 2 times x equals 10. When I think about canceling out multiplication, I will divide. So I'll divide by a negative 2. We should get negative 5 here as our final answer. It would be a good idea here to go ahead and pause your video for another second. Try out this last one on your own before I go ahead and explain it. So I would just pause your video here for a quick second, try it out, and see if you can get the right answer to match what I'm about to do. Okay, so when we see those parentheses with a number out front, that should be kind of a heads up to us that we are distributing in, oops, my board got a little bit messed up there for a second, distributing into those parentheses. So we should have like 8x minus 16 equals negative 2x. Now here's what I want you to be careful about. Negative 2x times negative 2, so that'd be a plus 4. That gets people a lot. Be careful about those signs there. Again, I like to kind of get my x's together here first, so I would add 2x to both sides to make that happen. So I have 10x. You know what? I'm going to do some double steps here at a time. So I'm going to also cancel out that minus 16 with a plus 16 on both sides. I end up with 10x equals 20. That means 10 times some number gets me 20, so I can divide both sides by 10. We should get x equals 2. So even if your steps were not in the exact same order as mine, think about if yours got you to the same place. If you got that x equals 2 there at the end, chances are that you did that correctly. So go ahead and move on to the level 3 video to help out if you feel like you kind of need to see a few more examples. They are going to be kind of step up from here. And then keep practicing the work. Good job, guys.